From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, February 8th. It's still frigid outside, and it will be for the next several days. Highs top out in the lower 20s with a few flurries possible.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy is staying in Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers wake up Super Bowl champs this morning. The Bucs crushed the Chiefs 31-9 last night. It was a home game for the Buccaneers, of course, played in front of a pandemic-limited 25,000 people at Raymond James Stadium. 7,500 of them were vaccinated healthcare workers. The league paid their expenses, gave them the tickets. The pregame ceremonies included a thank you to all healthcare workers for their hard work on the front lines of the pandemic. A nurse from Jacksonville described the feeling.
I'm really excited to see, the Tampa Bay Bucs play in their hometown. I'm excited to see Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be a really cool matchup.
The stadium had 30,000 fan cutouts in the seats to help keep social distance. At Disney World in Orlando, about an hour away, Cinderella's castle was bathed in red light to celebrate the Buccaneers, then blue to honor healthcare workers. Fans cheered on the victory in many of Tampa's famed night spots, and on the streets outside, many revelers outside did not follow the masking and social distancing rules that were so closely monitored in the stadium. And this is quarterback and Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady's 7th Super Bowl victory with his second team. Brady broke his own mark for the oldest player to win a Super Bowl at 43 years old. He also helped Tampa become the first team to win the big game at home. The game was billed as an epic battle of the greatest quarterback of all time against the current best.
This has been an amazing year. We got off to a good start, 7-2, and then had a little rough stretch where we kind of found our identity and played a lot better football down last December, January, and just really proud of all the guys.
They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time. But I'm proud of the guys now. They fought to the very end of the game.
Mahomes and the Chiefs failed to become the first repeat champions since Brady's Patriots in 2003 and 2004. This was the first time Mahomes lost by double digits in his 4-year career. And it was another spotlight moment for the poet who gained national attention at President Biden's inauguration.
We celebrate them by acting with courage and compassion, by doing what is right and just. For while we honor them today, it is they who every day honor us.
Amanda Gorman's Super Bowl poem was a tribute to 3 people for their contributions during the pandemic. Gorman appeared in a taped video message before the game instead of appearing on the field. Gorman tweeted after the game saying, "Poetry at the Super Bowl is a feat for art and our country because it means we're thinking imaginatively about human connection even when we feel siloed." History was also made before the game with a flyover at the stadium. 3 different Air Force bombers conducted a first-of-its-kind trifecta flyover during the national anthem. It was beautiful, just amazing. The bombers included a B-1B from South Dakota, a B-2 Spirit from Missouri, and a B-52 from North Dakota. The NFL says there is significance to those planes. If you add the numbers up, you get 55 in honor of this year's Super Bowl. The Weeknd headlined the halftime show. He used different parts of the stadium for the performance, including the field and the famous pirate ship. Before the show, The Weeknd had shared he would keep the halftime show PG. The 3-time Grammy winner is known for his graphic music videos and performances, but he did keep that promise, and he kept it clean for families watching. And Kansas Chiefs head coach Andy Reid is talking about the car crash involving his son, the Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reid. The wreck was last Thursday. According to police in Kansas City, Britt Reid's vehicle was one of 3 involved. The crash left 2 young children hurt and in the hospital. One of them, a 5-year-old girl, is in critical condition. According to ESPN, Britt Reid told the officers that he had had 2 or 3 drinks and was also taking prescription Adderall. Andy Reid spoke about the situation late last night in his post-game news conference.
My heart goes out to all those that were
involved in the accident, in particular, the family with the little girl who's fighting for her life. And listen, it's a tough situation. I can't comment on it any more than what I am here. So the questions that you have, I'm gonna have to turn those down at the time. But just from a human standpoint, man, my heart bleeds for everybody involved in that.
Britt Reed coaches linebackers.
Britt Reed coaches linebackers for the Chiefs. He did not travel to Tampa. So far, he's not facing charges connected to the crash. And today there will be a rally at the Statehouse. It's the latest step in a power struggle over housing rules at the state and local level. Housing advocates say evictions will increase if lawmakers override a veto by the governor. Organizers are braving the cold to line the streets outside the Statehouse. It's to protest against Senate Bill 148. The bill would prevent individual cities from taking action on landlord and tenant matters, including expedited evictions and regulating rental properties. Governor Holcomb vetoed the bill in March, keeping those regulations in place. Housing advocates say the bill goes too far and are calling the General Assembly to conduct a comprehensive review of the state's housing laws. They believe overriding the governor's veto could negatively impact statewide economic recovery efforts and cause an increase in evictions and homelessness in Indiana. Something Andrew Bradley with Prosperity Indiana says is more troubling because of the pandemic.
And we're seeing evidence that shows that whenever there are new evictions, that increases COVID spread. And then it ultimately increases the death rate in the places where that's affected. And that's because families who are evicted end up doubling up.
Bradley says the bill is a public health threat, and it's more important now than ever for families to have access to safe and affordable housing. New quarantining rules go into effect today for schools across Indiana. Students will not have to isolate or contact trace if someone tests positive. This will only apply if students and teachers are wearing masks and stay 3 feet apart. The rule does not apply if there's possible exposure in places where masks are removed, like in lunch. The state is also relaxing rules for the length of quarantine. A student or teacher will be allowed back in school if they isolate for 10 days. They only have to quarantine 7 days if they're tested before they return. State health officials say less than 5% of COVID-19 cases are linked to in-person learning.
Searching for a romantic summer getaway? Escape with Rich Girl Summer, the new Audible original from Lily Chu. The exquisitely talented Philippa Sue, returning to narrate her 5th Lily Chu title. This time, Philippa is joined by her real-life husband, Stephen Pasquale. Set in Toronto's wealthy cottage country, aka the Hamptons of Canada, Rich Girl Summer follows the story of Valerie, a down-on-her-luck event planner posing as a socialite's long-lost daughter, while piecing together the secrets surrounding a mysterious family and falling deeper and deeper in love with the impossibly hard-to-read and infuriatingly handsome family assistant, Nico. Caught between pretending to belong and unexpectedly finding where she truly fits in, Valerie learns her summer is about to get far more complicated than she ever planned. She's in over her head and head over heels. Listen to Rich Girl Summer now on Audible. Go to audible.com/richgirlsummer.
They're coming off the line as quickly as we can. And as I mentioned, not only will there be more Moderna and Pfizer doses as we get through March and April, but then we're going to be getting J&J or Janssen online.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is expressing optimism about the availability of COVID-19 vaccines. He says demand will outweigh supply for some time, but expects the outlook to improve sharply in March and April. The CDC reports 9.1 million Americans are now fully vaccinated against the virus, with an average of 1.4 million doses administered each day. In Indiana, the newest data from the state health department shows more than 216,000 have received both shots. Nearly 695,000 have gotten the first dose. And President Joe Biden used the traditional interview before the Super Bowl to support the reopening of schools.
I think it's time for schools to reopen safely. Safely. You have to have fewer people in the classroom. You have to have ventilation systems that have been reworked.
This week, the CDC is set to release new guidance on schools opening up. The agency's director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, says for schools to open safely, community spread of the virus needs to be down. Walensky has said that vaccinating teachers is not a prerequisite to reopening schools. And Biden's coronavirus relief bill gets a formal introduction in the House today. It's one of several different relief packages under consideration. Biden's plan has a total price tag of $1.9 trillion, with direct payments of $1,400 for most Americans and larger tax credits for families with children. It would also provide the first large outlay of money to help state and local governments weather the pandemic. Republicans say it spends too much, and they feel left out of the process.
Even if we come in good faith with at least 10 and more that would have joined us, and they say they don't care. So you've got that. It takes two to tango.
As the Biden bill moves forward, a different bipartisan group of representatives is promoting a smaller package focused specifically on vaccine distribution. And some Senate Republicans are rallying around former President Trump ahead of his impeachment trial. The trial is set to begin tomorrow. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham spoke on CBS's Face the Nation, saying he thinks it's a bad idea to impeach a president once they're out of office.
I think I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to end the impeachment trial because I think it's blatantly unconstitutional. 45 plus Republicans are going to vote early on that it's unconstitutional. It's not a question of how the trial ends. It's a question of when it ends.
Details of the proceedings are still being negotiated by Senate leaders. Trump is facing one article of impeachment on incitement of insurrection. And today there is a new push for stronger gun laws. This morning, the group Moms Demand Action is pushing lawmakers to act. Moms Demand Action is kicking off Advocacy Week with more than 150 volunteers and gun violence survivors rallying for bills that will be taken up during the upcoming legislative session. Under current Indiana law, you must have a permit to carry loaded handguns in public, openly or concealed, and you must pass a background check. The group is opposing 7 permitless carry bills currently in Indiana House that would remove these regulations. Moms Demand Action is lobbying against House Bill 1027, handgun training for teachers, allowing teachers to be armed at school, and 2 House bills eliminating gun-free zones. The group hopes these bills do not receive hearings, but they will be ready to oppose them if they do.
We don't want to see schools looking at this and saying, that's a cost savings. We can get rid of an SRO, or we don't have to hire a school resource officer. And instead, we'll just put another burden on one of our teachers and let them serve not just as a classroom teacher, but also as a security guard.
Moms Demand Action is lobbying for State Bill 285, safe storage handguns. It was written by Senator Fadi Kadora. The bill prevents a child or resident that is disqualified or ineligible to gain access to the firearm. A person can face a level 6 felony under the legislation or a level 5 felony if the person has a prior. Now to business headlines. Amazon has ordered over 700 compressed natural gas trucks. Reuters reports the trucks will use engines provided by a joint venture between Cummins and Westport Fuel Systems. The company previously pledged to become carbon neutral by 2040. And the breakneck pace of home price growth nationwide has caused more cities nationwide to become overvalued. Fitch analysts estimate that home prices are 5.5% overvalued nationally as of the fourth quarter of 2020. Fitch says the economy has not caught up to those housing prices. Pfizer expects to nearly cut in half the amount of time it takes to produce a batch of COVID-19 vaccine from 110 days to an average of 60. It says it's made the process more efficient as it gets used to making the vaccines. As of Saturday, about 20.6 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine had been administered nationwide. Gas prices are up nationwide. The national average price for a gallon of regular gas was $2.45. AAA says the current average in central Indiana is $2.37. Analysts expect higher prices at the pump throughout the month. You can get paid $50,000 to be a member of a NASCAR pit crew for the 2021 season. The job's being a member of Kevin Harvick's Real Stewart-Haas Racing Crew, officially the Busch Crewmaster. If selected, it'll be your job to attend races throughout the season, train and travel with the SHR team, and being responsible for various race team tasks. To apply, you just need to follow Busch Beer on Twitter, and then during the Daytona 500 on February 14th, questions will be asked on the Twitter feed for fans to show their NASCAR knowledge. And aside from the Super Bowl, we'll end on a couple other sports headlines for you. Indiana men's basketball coach Archie Miller says his team stepped up to the challenge on defense. The team got its second win over number 8 ranked Iowa yesterday, 67-65. It was late in the game when IU's defense got a few stops. The defense was a sticking point for Miller after their last loss at home against Illinois.
When we got into that last 8, 7, 6 minutes, you start to go with your gut in terms of we're going to need stops. We're going to need the ability to see if we can't get some stops. And let's not let the game sort of break away, giving them some easy ones. And I thought more than anything, we continued to kind of buckle down. And, Rob, Armand, you trust those guys defensively.
IU will visit Northwestern Wildcats Wednesday at 9 p.m. And finally,
I want to welcome you to Canton, Ohio, where I promise you we will keep your legacy alive forever. Not only as the player you were, the leader you were, the teammate you were, but frankly as the man you were. You've had a lot of great teammates.
Yeah.
that was the moment former Colts quarterback Peyton Manning learned he was going to Canton, Ohio. The first ballot Hall of Famer learned of his induction while filming a promo for Peyton's Places, a series on ESPN. Manning was able to receive praise from a number of former coaches, both in person and virtually through a jumbotron.
It just means that I'm very grateful for a lot of people that have helped me in this journey. As I've said, this wouldn't be exciting or wouldn't be special if you had to kind of take this ride of football alone.
Manning thanked his former teammates, including Marvin Harrison, who's already in the Hall of Fame, and Edgerrin James, whose Hall of Fame ceremony was postponed due to the pandemic, so it will be right before Peyton's. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.